Bismillah. Your question, Akhi? Alhamdulillah. Okay. Perfect. Fadal. Yes, it should be live. Yes, up.
Okay, so the question is, how do we interpret Umar ibn al-Khattab's action with creating a second Eid? Like
a second?
The Eid when the verse was set down. Right?
The Jewish man said that.
But he created an Eid on that day, right? Because it wasn't there prior to that.
Kayf, yani.
He said if this ayah was revealed to us,
the Jewish man,
into a special day.
Okay.
So Umar ibn al-Khattab made it into a special day, right?
Umar, he said, what we read, I know the day and I know the place. That was it. That's all Umar said.
Okay, so he didn't make that into a
That's all he said there. Yeah. The Jewish man said that. لو أنزل علينا معشر اليهود لاتخذنا ذلك اليوم عيدا. هذا هو. والله أعلم. طيب. Any other questions? Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Yeah.
Tfaddal.
Another one is I remember you one time telling us that everything is halal and to prove haram. When do we use that?
Right, the rule, and of course it's very important to understand that rules don't come from thin air. Some people may think that. When you hear a learned scholar, a real scholar saying, this is a rule in Islam, this is a principle in Islam, then that principle is supposed to be proven by several texts, like money. A dollar of gold or silver. It's a legal tender. It's a banknote. It's supposed to symbolize something. And if there's no gold and silver behind it, then it's nothing more than a napkin, basically, a piece of paper, a bookmark. So a rule in Islam, when you hear this is a rule in Islam, this is a qa'idah, this is an asl. That asl of that qa'idah is supposed to be proven through nusus, texts. Clear? So, as an example, the qa'idah that says that when a person doesn't have the human ability to do something, it's not wajib. If your leg is broken to do something, I can't stand up. That's a rule. Whether it's your leg, your foot, your toe, your tooth, any part of your body. You ran out of money when it's time to give the zakat, the money was burnt up, whatever happened, and you now are ajiz. You don't have the ability to do it. Okay? And so it's no longer wajib upon you. That rule can't just come from thin air. But that rule has to be proven through text of Quran and Sunnah. And a perfect example of that is the Prophet said to the companion, if you can stand up, pray, stand up. And if you can't stand up, then sit down. And if you can't sit down, then lie down. So the rule has to be proven. So from those rules of Islam is that the unlawful. That's only for worldly affairs. Dunya, not ibadah. So you can wear whatever color you want to wear. You can eat whatever you want to eat. Drink whatever you want to drink. This is how we get married in my country. This is how we do it in my country, in your village. No problem. Until it's proven to be impermissible, it's open for how you wish to practice it. You want to wear brown? No problem. You want to wear black? No problem. You want to wear blue? No problem. Until it's proven to be haram. Alright? And not the opposite as many people think. What's the proof that you can wear brown? You have to prove it. No. Like innocent until proven? Guilty. Racial injustice here in this country. We know you did it. I'm sure that you did it. And we're going to prove it and show it. That's wrong. You are innocent. Period. Until it's proven in the court of law that you made the crime. Alright? So, that as far as the deen, then it's the exact. There's no prayer, there's no dhikr, there's no this and all that until it is proven. Guilty until proven innocent. The deen is not lawful. It says, oh, this is good, let's come together and let's make this salat together, this extra prayer. Let's come together and let's give this extra zakat. Let's do it. No. The specific ibadah is haram until it is legislated. أَمْ لَهُمْ شُرَكَاءُ. Allah says, do they have partners? Allah asks a rhetorical question. شَرَعُوا لَهُم مِّنَ الدِّينِ مَا لَمْ يَأْذَنْ بِهِ اللَّهُ. That have made things for them in a religion that Allah has not allowed. So there's no worship in Islam until Allah allows it. Until the messenger what? Allows it. Nothing is haram of food, of drink, of worldly things until Allah and His messenger prohibit it. That's the qaida. And of course that qaida has to be based off of proofs and evidences. Wallahu alam. Khair inshallah. Fadl Sheikh. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Mostly thanks again for coming. Really appreciate you. You said you made a statement just a minute ago about the ignorance, and I was saying to myself, how could the Muslim Ummah in this day and time, how can they dispel the evil and the ignorance that's in themselves? How can they dispel the evil? Because a lot of evil is in a lot of us. And the evil is because we are real ignorant about our deen. So how could we dispel that? How could we get rid of that sickness?
The question is regarding dispelling the evil of ignorance and just evil itself from ourselves and from our communities, etc. Thank you very much for the question, Sheikh. May Allah bless you. I would say, of course, change starts from the top. Okay, leadership. That's why it's called leadership. They lead. It's not just called administration or management. It's not just called, power or government. They actually lead. So the leader has to lead. The leaders have to lead. Whatever leadership you may have. Islamic leadership, worldly leadership. How set the example. You got to set the example. And you have to lead and pull the people and push the people. So that's advice to myself or to anyone else who has some type of Islamic leadership or status. Is that the change has to start from above. Secondly is, with regards to that change, is that the leadership has to have courage. You can't be scared and afraid. And many of us are scared and afraid. It's reality. I don't want to say this. I don't want to talk about this because you guys want to get mad at me. And if you get mad at me, you're not going to put as much money in the sadaqah box. You're going to look at me a certain way. You're going to think I'm too harsh. You're going to think I'm too hasty. You're going to think that I know everything. You're going to think. So I keep toning it down and 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 shaving it down until nothing's left. So the leadership they themselves have to do what's right, and they have to lead by example. And the leadership has to have the gut people what they need to hear, and not to be afraid and scared and sugar-coated. If you're worried and afraid that someone's going to get mad at you and not like you and not invite you again, you have no business giving them dawah. If you're scared of the consequences and the repercussions for enforcing Allah's laws, doing what you're supposed to be doing, you don't need to be a leader. So the leader has to be strong and can't be afraid but no one but Allah. This is what it is, and that's the bottom line. I'm going to try my best to use wisdom. I'm going to try my best to be gentle. I'm going to try my best not to offend you, but the truth has to be said. Thirdly is, the people, they have to realize is that the leadership is nothing more than leadership. It's a guide. And you ultimately have to follow the truth yourself. You're responsible for following the truth yourself. And the Quran vividly mentions the argument and the debate between two groups of people in the Day of Judgment. Allah sometimes calls them the du'afa, the weak. Those who are deemed weak will say. Followed will say. And Allah talks about قَالَ الَّذِينَ اسْتَكْبَرُوا, those who are in charge, those who are prideful. Allah talks about who are followed. And Allah vividly tells us is that the weak people, they will always make an excuse and they'll find a scapegoat to blame the strong people. And Allah mentions that you will all be in the fire of hell, and there's no excuse. There's no excuse. You misled us. You would mislead us. تَأْمُرُونَنَا You commanded us to do this, bin Mekri, so on and so forth. There's no excuse. So the leadership should be right, should be strong, should be correct. But if it's not, or if it's lacking, or if it's a little slow, you have a duty to use your own mind and brain, that this is right and this is wrong. This is not okay, this is good, so on and so forth. Everyone has a responsibility. Last but not least, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, is how we look at this worldly life. I look at the dunya, my degree is a reason, inshallah, for me getting a good job. Or do I look at my degree as it is the thing that makes me get a good job? The certificate is the risk. If I graduate from college, I'm guaranteed to have a job. I'm guaranteed to have money. And if I have money, I'm guaranteed to get married to a beautiful, lovely wife. And if I have a beautiful, lovely wife, I'm guaranteed to have lovely children. I'm going to be happy and carefree. That's how many of us look at the world. And that's how many of us look at our children's lives. You be successful according to what type of degree you get. You be successful according to what type of cultural marriage you have. How do we look at the dunya? What do we think about the dunya? We're here for a limited period of time. We're here to do our things, handle our business, and keep moving. Or we're here to stay. So these are all reasons behind the Muslims being ignorant, Muslims not caring, Muslims turning away, and Muslims not being concerned with their deen. It's how they look towards the dunya. Okay, so sight and then perception. You see a thing, but it doesn't mean it's how you perceive the thing. We all know the dunya is an illusion. But do we actually perceive it as such? Do we behave as such? I work for money or money works for me. I seek Allah's rizq and the rest is upon Allah, or the more hours I put in determines the more money I make. And so on and so forth. So these are all reasons behind us as Muslims being behind and being far from the deen. And there are other reasons as well. Those are my basic solutions, Sheikh. And Allah knows best. We got to move on to the next question, Sheikh Yusuf.
I said, forgive me for asking that question.
No, that's fine. There's no problem. There's no problem. Question comes from Ahmed Khan from Cairo, Egypt. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Hope you're well. Should we memorize the small footnotes provided on mutun, such as the commentary on a hadith? Barakallahu fiqh. Wa alaikum salam wa fiqh barakallah. Memorizing. If you have a dynamic memory, you should memorize whatever you can. Anything you can. Whatever. Period. If you can. But most of us, specifically myself, who don't have the ability to memorize that well. Okay? Trust me. You may think, but I know my own weaknesses. You don't have the ability to memorize that well. And your memory power is limited. Unfortunately, your study time is limited. You got to prioritize. So not only should you not memorize every footnote and all the commentary, you have to be selective on the actual mutun you memorize. Rather, be selective on the hadith you memorize and the Quran that you memorize. If your memory is limited. You got it? You memorize what you need. You memorize the basics and hope for a better day. If you have more time, more energy, more talent, soak it up. But you have to, memorizing is only one step. After you've memorized something, you have to learn how to separate it, how to compartmentalize things. This is the actual text. This is what Sheikh Fulan said. This is the tafsir, that's the ayah. Many people, they mix the things up. Alright, so memorizing is only one step. After you memorize something, retaining it, keeping it with you. After you keep it with you, not growing rusty, and having the ability to do what? Section off your brain and your head. That's a task. You as a student of knowledge, inshallah, you have to practice that from day one. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And Allah knows best. Next question comes from initials J.A. from Nashville, Tennessee. Assalamu alaikum, beloved Sheikh. I would like to send you some merch I personally designed, inshallah. Where's the best address? Jazakallah khairan. Inshallah ta'ala, you can send it, you can email me, and I'll give you a P.O. box to send it to. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Or if you want, you can drop it off at the masjid. That's fine. The masjid on the Van Wyck Expressway, 10906 Van Wyck Expressway, Jamaica, New York. Zip code 11420. Next question says, J.A. Nashville, Tennessee. The mic cuts out, so if you can type the answer, type. Moving forward. A.G. from Essen, Germany. What to do if you have irregular flatulence with regards to salah and wudu? It's very simple, inshallah ta'ala. first and foremost is ask Allah for the shifa. Ask Allah to heal you and to cure you. You have a regular passing of wind, make dua for Allah to remove that from you. Allah is the one who cures, not the doctor, not the medicine or the pharmacist. Secondly, after you've made dua and you keep making dua, go to the doctor and see what's wrong with your body and ask them to examine you, so on and so forth. Step 3, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, is that when it's time to make the fard salah, it's time to make the fard prayer, after the adhan or the app goes off, that's when you perform your wudu. If you pass wind while you're making the wudu, keep making wudu. If you finish your wudu and you pass wind, walk towards the area of prayer. If you make the takbiratul ihram and you're passing wind in the 3rd, 2nd, 4th rak'ah, continue to pray. After you've made the fard salah, you can make any sunnah prayer that you wish to make. The moment it's time for the next prayer, you have to make a fresh wudu after the prayer has come in. That's what you do in that situation. And many Muslims, they suffer from this. And Allah knows best. Is it time for the adhan now? Khair, inshallah, we'll stop here tonight. Jazakumullahu khairan. Sallallahu sallam wa barak ala abdihi wa rasulihi nabiyina wa imamina Muhammad.